Hi friends. Now I explain JFG 7 program marks report students marks report program. Before that, I advise you to perform this program on your own 100%. If you perform previous 6 projects on your own, this will not be a big issue for you. Definitely 90% of the students definitely perform this program on their own. However, that is not an obligation. So I suggest you 3 alternatives. One of the alternatives you can choose. The first alternative is, now you see the previous video, and by that you can understand every complete design aspect. Thereafter you start writing your program without watching this video. You write your program on your own. However you write it. Heavens won't fall down. 90% you will do that. Okay. Then execute it. If you get the result, then verify your program. You compare with your program with this, where deviations are there and all that you correct. That is the first and best alternative. The second alternative is, you listen to my explanation, all this video, you watch. Thereafter you try this program on your own. After completion of that, you compare your program with this. But one thing, wherever error comes, immediately don't look at it. You make your own effort to rectify that, to fix it, and thereafter verify that. The third alternative is, watch this lecture completely, understand that. Thereafter, write each segment like declaration of instance variables, defining constructor, defining instance method, like that. Segment wise you write, and you verify that. Thereafter, compare with my code. That is the third alternative. The one of the alternatives you can choose depending on the levels of your confidence. Okay. Now I explain everything. As I told you already, first define blueprint class. Let us name it as marks report. In Pascal case, don't be lenient. Strictly follow the conventions. Okay. Thereafter, 9 instance variables we have to define. Now, with the appropriate types. The first one is name. Obviously, it is a string. Second one, int, class number, roll number. These are perfect integers because there is no question of fractional part for that. Thereafter, string, subject 1, complete name also write. Here sub 1, sub 2, sub 3 have written. You write is better, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, you write. That means subject 1 name, subject 2 name, subject 3 name. Okay. Thereafter, int. Actually, here we are taking whole numbers only. That's why I have defined int. Don't define float. Okay. If you want later, you do that. Initially, you define them, declare them with an integer type. Marks 1, marks 2, mark 3. Okay. Now, 9 instance variables we declare. Thereafter, one line gap you give, because after every segment, if you give a line gap, it is like a paragraph division in a text. It improves the readability. It looks elegant also. Thereafter, constructor you define. In the constructor, how many parameters you have to write? You have to write 9 parameters, and they may not fit in one line. That's why you segment it. And short names you can give. Now we see string nm, int c number, int r number, string s1, s2, string s3, that is subject names. Thereafter, int m1, m2, int m3, like that. One thing I am telling you, short names you use, but those are indicative. Don't simply take a, b, c, or x, y, z. That is not a good practice. Okay. And within the body of the constructor, you initialize everything. Already you have seen, I need not explain, but we do it. Line gap, where I am giving line gaps and all that, you observe that, and observe and follow. By that, the readability of your code is improved. As I told you already, It is like your good handwriting. If you have good handwriting, automatically opposite person, whoever sees your document script, they get the first impression without knowing anything about you. Like that, whoever sees your program, they should get the first impression. It may have some flaws also, no worry. But if you have the discipline, then you get the first impression by somebody, some professional. Okay. Now two segments we have defined. Now let us come to next instance method. Three methods we have to define. The first one is calculate total marks. Calculate total marks. How you calculate? Simple formula. Marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3, that you write, and thereafter you return. And return type, actually three integers if you add, what is the result, type of the result? It is integer only. That's why you make it as integer. Thereafter calculate average marks. Calculate average marks. Calculate average marks. What is the formula? Total marks by 3 papers. Actually here calculate total marks method gives returns total marks. That's why what you do, you write body of the calculate average marks. You see, int a marks is equal to calculate total marks by 3. That method you call how you behave in real life, the same way. Suppose what you do, some wood repair work is there, you call carpenter repairs it. Thereafter you want to repaint it, then you call painter paints it. Like that, in the average marks method, which service you require? You require total marks. Who will give total marks? Then calculate total marks method gives it. That's why you write it. You just simply call it, it comes and gives it to you. Then by 3 you make, then average marks you calculate, then average marks should be returned. It's a return type also int. Here one point you have to understand. Suppose 3 papers total marks, suppose 152. Then 3 means it is a integer division. This is int. So 50 only it comes, no fraction will come. If it is 153, 51 will come. That's why don't worry. And fraction int by int versus int, the result is int. So average marks returns integer value only. Okay. Now you have to write a demo marks report. For this, I have given the output, already showed to you. Strictly with the reference to that, you have to write. For that purpose, I need not explain anything, because you should have perfect command over SOP statement. Only with the practice you get it. Number 2 is you should have command over 2 escape sequences. One is new line sequence, second one is horizontal tab. And one more point, last 2 lines you see. Here, where total marks are required, there we are calling calculate total marks. Where average marks are required, we are calling calculate average marks method. Okay. So in this manner we write everything, because how many times on a same element I should explain? Some students feel boring. That's why I am not explaining this, and I am entrusting this job to you. Okay. Now your blueprint class is ready. Once a blueprint is ready, then n number of mark reports you can print. For n number of students, you can prepare mark report and display them. Now we see class name, main EQ, as I told you already many times, and this is the implementation class. Thereafter main method you declare in that, and thereafter now instantiation. Now marks report. Now here name may be some, if you want to make MR1 marks report 1 is the object name, you can make it. Otherwise you make it S1, that is more appropriate. What for marks report you are printing? That's why S1, student 1, student 2, like that. In the constructor, through constructor, what you pass? Name of the student, just to see that is a string. Thereafter class number integer, roll number integer, 3 subject names, all strings, triple A, triple B, triple C. Don't forget pair of double quotes. There Thereafter, marks in 3 papers, marks percentage in 3 papers, 45, 50, 55, 68. That you are passing. Inter, these are passed to constructor, and inter, all instance variables are initialized. Thereafter, via S1, you call demo marks report, then marks report is printed. You see that. That's the output. If you want one more object, you can n number of objects you can create.